good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending on where you're joining us from in the world. Welcome to Open Up, our live talk show. I'm RJ Horner, and I'm the host of Open Up. I'm also the vice president at Voice of Men 360, and I'm the founder and facilitator at Live and Love Life Leadership. Now, let me share a brief introduction about Voice of Men 360, International Men's Day, and why this talk show, Open Up, is so important. Voice of Men 360 is a not-for-profit organization founded in 2020 and based in Toronto, Canada. And boys and men are seeking help and support in many areas of their lives. We understand the demands and the support needed when it comes to boys and men in our society. And Voice of Men 360 organization was born out of seeing this need and stepping up to help provide guidance and service to help our men and boys face their life challenges. Voice of Men 360 is part of International Men's Day. IMD is a mission and a movement that has been serving for over 21 years so far and is now represented in 90 countries around the world doing various activities. IMD follows 6 pillars, which represent the overall well-being of men and boys, and we follow in those same footsteps here. So why is Open Up so important? Men and boys are not open and willing to share our matters with anyone. When we keep our emotional challenges within ourselves for any period of time, at some point it'll explode and affect our health conditions in many ways. That's why we want to create an open space and allow individuals to share their life journey through our platform. We aim to create an open space and allow individuals to share their life journey. We create awareness about life challenges, struggles, and the overcomes and the ups and downs that our men and boys have to go through in their lives. There are no limitations with gender, age, nationality with respect to sharing your life journey. All walks of life are invited to participate. Our goal is to make a positive impact on someone's life through this program. Open Up is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We bring individuals to share and allow to share their life experiences with you. We'd like to remind you that Voice of Men 360's mission is always delivered with good faith towards peaceful harmony. The views and opinions expressed in today's episode are those of our speakers and do not represent Voice of Men 360. Our organization engages in discussion forums to offer inspiration and create awareness to the issues of men who wish to overcome their life challenges. We're not providing medical or therapeutic advice. Should you require that type of assistance, we recommend you contact a medical professional immediately. If you have questions or concerns about today's episode or any Voice of Men 360 content, please email us at info@voiceofmen360. Today, our special guest is Nicole Francis. She is a resilient woman who loves God, family, friends, and community. Her background includes special needs education, early childhood education, human development through lifespan, and family dynamics, perspectives, and stages of grief. She advocates for the voiceless, the vulnerable, and the disenfranchised. She's a certified life coach, a motivational speaker, workshop facilitator, and an event planner. Please welcome Nicole Francis to Open Up. Thank you for joining us and being willing to share your life journey with us today.
Thank you for having me today. It's indeed a pleasure.
Absolutely. Our pleasure too. Thank you. So please take us back to your childhood. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to take this journey of becoming a life coach and getting involved with really helping people.
Well, I just want to make a quick correction. What I actually do is I am the founder and the CEO of Chosen to Be Whole. It is a platform that is dealing with sexual trauma and mental health proclivities that are associated to sexual trauma. And it is also inclusive of every community, every walk, every gender identity, every gender, every age. So that's really what is what's been driven by my past. Being a life coach is just a part of what goes within the spectrum of being the founder of Chosen to Be Whole.
Now, to answer your... No, I'm glad you clarified because I knew that about you. I just didn't have it in my intro notes. So I'm glad you clarified for people out there. So what inspired you to get on this path?
Well, when I was around 6 to about 13, I was molested by a close family member. And although the abuse was not physical after about age 10, just having access or being accessible to the individual and attempts on another cunning level. Still created a difficult dynamic for me as I was growing. Then with that, I've had other encounters of sexual assault once I got older. And these created a lot of unrest in my family. And it was just a not good psychological place to be. And from that, and just going through making poor decisions and struggling to make good decisions and making some good decisions, last year, Chosen to Be Whole was birthed.
You created quite the leap there. You did tell us quite
Oh, sorry.
no, that's okay. But we get to that. But how did you get through such circumstances? As a young girl, I mean, trying to get through this and share your life with people and managing. How did you get through that, if you wouldn't mind?
And to be honest, yes, being a female, as a female, we do get a lot of understanding and sympathy. I also want to make it very clear that it's not just the females. I think the process is the same for both, that there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of self-introspection. For me, what worked was honestly my faith in God. My family did the best that they could. My immediate family, my mom, my dad, my brothers, they were phenomenal in that. Even though they did not understand my behaviors, I didn't understand my behaviors. I did act out at times. I was not sexually promiscuous or anything of that nature. But just working through that with my mom, she was really good. She stuck close by. She listened. She did not doubt, where I had other family members that did doubt. That also created another dynamic that somewhat delayed being able to get to a point to even deal with it. So even before being able to deal with it, having a good network of people around you that are listening, that are supportive, and that I found in my immediate family, one cousin and that particular family, they were really good. It just took a lot of conversation. And once I changed my life and I got into a faith-based community, and just reading the Bible and just having that personal relationship, to be quite honest, was what put me on the trajectory of being able to really deal with it. The rest of it was just being a very good actress, smiling when you don't want to smile, acting like that you are okay when you're not okay. And that's just a coping mechanism that you come up with when you didn't have the tools. But once you have the tools, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, as a teenager, you don't have the tools. You know what I mean? You have to hope for that support. It sounded like you had a supportive environment. One of the relationships we like to stress on is the father relationship. What was your relationship like with your father? Did he have a hard time dealing with this, or even beyond that? Did you have a good communication with your father?
It was quite difficult. I believe that my dad, given the individual that it was, and that the individual was so close to home, I believe my father was so torn. And as a child, I didn't see that he was torn. I didn't think it, now looking back on it, it wasn't my job to see that it was torn. So we did not have a good relationship, because I felt that he should have, flung his arm around me, let me know that I'm okay. He did everything. He was an awesome, he was an awesome provider for the family, and he still is. However, that emotional piece was not there. That protection, I don't think, was there coming from a child's eye. As an adult, I see it completely different, but as a child, no, it just was not there. And I love my pops, I really do. And now as an adult, being able to work through possibly where he was, even with my hurt, yeah, I could see, why certain things were lacking.
Yeah, and you can't possibly understand what's going through his mind at the time, right? And vice versa. we try to manage the best we can with our relationships and be there for each other, regardless of what may be going on in the individual mind.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
was this your darkest moment, or were there any others that you're able to share with us?
To be quite honest, this was my darkest, which streamed over about 20 to 30 years
Okay.
because I did, like I said in the intro, I had other situations. I got into an organization and there was a gentleman there that was just relentless in pursuing me. And it was difficult because I looked at this person again, a male, in an authoritative level. And it was scary showing up at my home late at night, saying certain things. At the time, I didn't have a vehicle, and because of certain circumstances, um, I had to take a ride with him until things were settled, until I was able to find my voice and to fight and to say this is not okay. Then another individual that was rather close to me, I was in a relationship with them. Another incident happened there, but it was under the guise of no one's going to believe because we're in a relationship. So there were many steps in the area of sexual assault and abuse that made the journey a extremely dark one, but one that I can honestly say, although I'm not happy that it happened, I am grateful that it did.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned that you were able to, at a certain point, use your voice and speak up for yourself. Would you call that a changing point in your life, or was that part of your growth?
It was part of my growth because the change really did not come until I had a solid relationship um, with the Lord. But that was the first step to being able to fight for myself and to know that, okay, what happened to me as a child was not okay. It was not my fault. And then it's okay for me to stop it. It's okay for me to say it's not okay. It's okay for me to expose, um, what you're doing. So
Co-
it was a, sorry, go ahead.
Correct. No, I'm just going to add one word: correct. Because you know what?
Correct.
We all have the right to speak up for ourselves at any given moment. And some people don't feel they have that opportunity or the voice to do so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes I think that's cultural as well.
Mhm.
And with the topic of sexual trauma, it is one that we don't speak about very often. It's one that it invokes so many different emotions. From the advocate having emotions of wanting to get out there and to fight, as well as for those that are involved, and also for the onlookers.
Mhm.
So it sexual trauma and the wave of it is a very difficult one, but possible one to navigate through.
Yes, you know what? It's something that you said maybe it's a cultural thing. And you know what? Certain cultures, we don't talk about it because it doesn't happen in all our culture. And you know what? I truly believe there's no cultural barrier there. It happens to any culture, any person,
Absolutely.
based on that perpetrator's mindset. So it has nothing to do with the victim even. So these are things that we have to overcome to step
Yes.
forward, right?
Yes. When I say cultural, I mean in the essence of how we approach it, how we problem solve it, how we discuss it. That is the area of the cultural part that I speak of, because trauma has no special victim. It does not choose a socioeconomic status.
Mhm.
It is just a victim becomes a victim by someone else's choice to exercise and exert you know their views or their strength over someone else.
Absolutely. Thank you for those words. Now, you mentioned how you have your faith. You're very, very deep in your faith. And without it, you probably wouldn't be where you are today. But was that the only factor involved in overcoming or growing past this?
I wanted to be better. I wanted to be stronger. I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to be, not at the time, I did not see that I wanted to help anybody else, but I did have a hope that nobody else was ever going to go through what I've been going through. And just as I began to heal and as I began to fight for myself, then that advocacy came in. So it is a myriad of wanting to not be angry and be hurt and be that 6-year-old child for the rest of my life. I had a child that I was overly protective of, and I did not want to damage him in any way because I refused to let him go anywhere, unless it's with people that I knew, which was just really my family and one of my cousins' home. So I held him very tight. So when I looked at that, so before really taking charge, the two was I wanted to be better for me. I wanted to be better for my son. And my faith really was just the catapult that really launched that to where I am today.
And I thank you for that, because I'm not a man of faith. I lost my faith, or I abandoned faith as a youth, for reasons of my own. But I discovered spirituality as an adult. And one of those things was, look, I didn't have faith to get me through. But when I was ready to go to that next level, I made the decision that I was going to, like you say, be better for myself and for those around me. And that was the
Yeah.
catapult for me. So they're great to have faith. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
serves us well, but that alone is not going to take us to that next level. It may get you through the day, absolutely, but it's not going to help you
Yes.
get beyond your trauma.
Absolutely. That is something that you've got to get to that place to do.
Right.
And getting to that place is what leads you to find faith. Getting to that place would lead you to finding a group of friends that you can speak to. Getting to that place is what lets you begin to speak about it. So it always begins with you doing that first step of, accepting where you are, dealing with where you are, uncovering what has happened to you before you can find something that will help you along that journey. And that's really what it was. It was just coming to that place of mind. I'm tired of carrying this monkey on my back. I need to do something for my son and for myself. And then what I gravitated towards was faith. So you're absolutely right. And the channel doesn't work for everyone. Like I said, there's different avenues that everyone takes, but it begins with you being so disgusted and busted and broken that you make that first step to wanting to be restored.
Absolutely. Look, and there's our message right there. The entire title of our show: open up, allowing those things, allowing those changes, allowing for us to become better and get beyond this trauma, as you mentioned.
Yes.
So tell us
Absolutely.
now about Chosen to Be Whole. That's your new initiative. It's where you're taking your from here on out, helping people grow. So tell us a bit more about Chosen to Be Whole.
Chosen to Be Whole was birthed last year, July. I literally was just minding my own business. I was on a gentleman's Facebook, and he was clearly going through a mental crisis. And the things that he had posted were, kind of disturbing to others, but they were responding to him with a lack of understanding that something is more than just his speech that he's written. And I was brought to tears, to be quite honest, saying, wow, this gentleman just needs an intervention. Like, go beyond his words and recognize, okay, there's something wrong. And knowing him, that what he's saying, that's where it's coming from. And as I sat there, I was like, there's so many people out there that are hurting. There's so many people that that are dealing with trauma, but no one wants to speak about it, especially in churches, especially in, Black communities. We don't speak about it. It happens, but we don't bring it to the forefront. Then that's how Chosen to Be Whole literally was commissioned. There was just honestly a surge of energy that went through, and that's what happened. And from there, it was just foot to metal. And It's just a very simplistic way of approaching sexual traumas and the mental health that goes with it. Um, Opening up these conversations, talking about grooming, talking about, how to navigate through these. And every month I do have a show, usually around the 23rd to the last Saturday of the month, where I do have guests that do come on and we touch on different areas of sexual trauma, whether we're talking about just sexuality, whether we're talking about sexual choices, whether we're talking about predator, whether we're talking about recovery. And like I said, it is new. So we're also now getting a little bit into philanthropy as well. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. The support thus far has been great, but aside from the support, the conversation, individuals that are actually opening up on the platform has been a blessing, and to hear that they are now thriving to have these conversations in their families or in their churches has been phenomenal.
Absolutely. Look, that's what our show is all about. It's what we want to talk about. We want people to open up the voice. I love that you are an advocate for the voiceless, because I think there are so many people out there who are afraid to open up their voice, or afraid to speak about this, for being judged or for being ostracized, because this has happened to us.
Yes. It, I don't know. I think oftentimes individuals are embarrassed for someone else, or they feel someone else's pain and they just don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And my experience causes you to be fearful. Will this happen to me or to someone else? So then when I begin to speak, and when I say me, I just mean in general, when we begin to speak about it, it really unleashes a plethora of emotions that sometimes people just don't know how to navigate or what to do with.
And so I assume you're trying to create a community around this with Chosen to Be Whole. Is that the idea? Like, not just the
Yes.
voice.
Yes.
And the reason I mention that, because I've read your philosophy here. I've built a community. We've built a community here at Voice of Men 360, and you're building your own community. I love your philosophy, and if I'll quote it if I don't mind. The robustness of a community is predicated on the psychological healthiness of its members.
Absolutely.
Look, and so that's the point of the community is, look, one member is working to help each member become stronger, become better, become healthier.
Yes, absolutely. I heard the quote again yesterday that, it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
It takes, one person to allow somebody else to speak. And when that happens and you realize that your story may not be the only story that is out there, but from you speaking your truth, you are able then to allow others to. And when that connects, like connecting with you and Sivam, what happens, it spreads, and it hits from one community to the next until it is global.
Mhm.
And what do you have then? You have healthy individuals helping others to become healthy, then you end up having stronger communities.
Absolutely. Just being there for each other, supporting each other, help walking each other through those moments that we all are going to have. Not every day is going to be perfect, but we have to be there for each other and help each other live a better day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got it.
So then, can you maybe share any experiences that you felt that you've dealt with men specifically, where you've watched them struggle, and then maybe how you've helped them through that struggle?
Outside of Chosen to Be Whole and with Chosen to Be Whole, one of the things that I tend to have a lot of experience with when it comes to the male counterpart is communication. I strongly believe that boys are not taught that it is okay to cry. It is not. It's not okay to be vulnerable. It is not okay to speak about what you're going through. You just got to man up and do it. And I'll be honest, I was guilty. I was a single mom raising a boy. And my poor boy would fall off his bike and I would run to him and, you know, do the mummy stuff. But in the interim of doing the mummy stuff, I'm like, okay, babe, don't cry. It's okay. It's just a little cut. You got this. You're strong. And here I am pouring in all the best that I think that I was doing as a mom, not realizing I was also teaching him that I can't be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I can't cry. It's not okay to cry.
Yeah.
And it's something that is, I believe, the underline of what I see with most men. Just trying to, you know, when they're upset and they're speaking to me and they're not even able to express their anger, not able to go through and really let you know what's going on because they haven't had the practice from a child. They haven't had the support from a child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that just ties in with everything else because without communication, you won't begin to speak and to speak about what you need and ask for the help that you deserve.
Right. Just allowing that voice, just allowing people to speak up can change the outcome or the circumstance.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
to end out our show, we always like to ask two questions. One, what can we do to help our men and boys as a society to grow to their next level?
Honestly, it's very simple but very difficult. Continue having these conversations on Voice of Men 360 and other platforms. I think as men begin to see other men speaking on difficult topics and they get the support that they get, they will learn, they will understand, they will gravitate to the fact that it is okay. That, you know, oh, wait a minute, that individual has the same situation that I had, or that individual thinks the same way that I think or thought, and look at where they are. Conversation is key, and we need the support. Secondly, I also believe in education. As I just stated, as a single mom, I did my best to raise my son to be a strong king, a strong warrior, not realizing that guess what? I was doing some damage. So education is key. Coming together and having conversations to say, this is what was broken. How can we fix it? Going forward, instead of doing A, can we try to do B? So
Mm-hmm.
communication and education is key.
Absolutely. Thank you. And then what, in your opinion, what can our young boys do to become stronger men? To become better men, not necessarily stronger.
To become better men, I simply believe that they need to look at men in their lives that have done amazing things. And
Mm-hmm.
amazing things does not mean a great house, a great car. It does not mean dressing flashy. Great things simply means they've come from a hard place. They are still working towards becoming greater men in their community. Um, Looking at someone and saying, this is where I want to go, and maybe begin to ask, how did you get there? How is it that you came out of a gang, or how, you know, you were raped or molested, and look at you now? So if you're a young boy, or you know, that's all you need to do. Ask questions. Find someone that you are thriving to become. And if you don't know who you want to become, it is another conversation to have. Think about where you want to go in life. And then once you have that, then, you know, that's your focus, then you know how to navigate towards that, or you'll learn how to navigate towards that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, in closing, is there anything you just want to add before we depart today?
Honestly, the last thing that I really just want to add, I just want to let everyone know that sexual trauma, loss of family, grief, it doesn't matter where you are. If you are finding yourself that you're not able to sleep, if you're finding yourself that you're not really liking who you've become, it's time for you to find someone that you can trust, that you need to speak to someone. And if you're not at that place, get a diary. I know it sounds so insignificant, but you get a book and you begin to write down your thoughts until you can begin to find that person that you can trust. But You need to get all of those emotions out, because if you don't get them out, they stay, they fester, and they grow into other things. You become what you don't want to become. And if you are in a place where you're being hurt, it has nothing to do with you. It simply means that, you know what? You've just got to find a way to get your voice and get the help, and the help that you need. And it is there. You're loved more than you know, and you're stronger than you really think you are. And when you make that one step, you'll realize, wait a minute, I can do this.
Mhm. Nicole, thank you for those words. These are not subjects that are easy to talk about. Not everyone's willing to share their life experiences and their struggles. So I appreciate your courage and willingness to come out and help other people experience and overcome their life challenges. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Men of 360. And you guys are doing a phenomenal work. And for everyone that is listening across the world, please continue to support Men, Voice of Men 360. The work is invaluable. Men need their voice, and this platform honestly allows men to have that voice.
Thank you, Nicole Francis, for sharing or for joining us and sharing your life journey with us today. When people like yourself come forward and share their life experiences on platforms like ours, especially on social media, it helps give people hope out there to change their mindset and change their life in a positive direction. That's our goal in Voice of Men 360 and Open Up. We want to bring out individuals and allow them to share their life journey, have an open conversation about our men's problems and challenges and how we can help them overcome. So to end the show, just a few announcements. As many Canadians know, our Indigenous communities are in big crisis now, and they need all the help and support we can give them. Voice of Men 360 is stepping up and has started a donation drive for Indigenous families. If you have any used clothing, dry goods, or other items that you feel appropriate to donate, please let us know and we will collect them. You can reach us at 416-356-7414. Once again, that's 416-356-7414, or our direct phone number, 437-889-8329. Once again, our phone number direct is 437-889-8329. And our email address is info@voiceofmen360.org. Or please, that makes our website, please reach out to www.voiceofmen360.org for more about what's going on. And again, we will coordinate on this food drive or this donation drive with you. Voice of Men 360 will be hosting our first meet and greet. This will take place Saturday, August 28th from 11 to 3 p.m. This is in North York at Earl Bales Park in the Bathurst and Shepherd area. We also have several live shows. You just participated in Open Up. That is Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where we invite people to share their life journey. The same thing happens in Tamil language, and we call that Vili, which means I. That takes place Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have a monthly webinar. This takes place the first Saturday of every month from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where we bring out the expertise from organizations and discuss a particular topic. We also have a special show once a month we call The Unspoken Tears. That one is the second Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And the topic really is about domestic violence against men. Another show we have, we're co-hosting with the All Bengals Men's Forum. This is the South Asian Men's Show. And again, the topic is about men's issues facing South Asian men. This takes place the third Sunday of every month from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we turn all of our episodes and our content into podcast episodes. So please look out for us on your favorite content, iPhone, Google Play, Spotify, and more. We also have couple monthly men's meetings that we've started up. The first one is a only men's support group. This one is the third Tuesday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. through Zoom. And then we have an Indigenous peer-to-peer support group. This one we call Pass the Talking Stick. It's the fourth Friday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. through Zoom. Please register in advance for these programs. The next Pass the Stock Talking Stick will be Friday, July 23rd at 6 p.m. There are no limitations with age, gender, nationality, or ethnic groups. All walks of life are invited to participate in our show. If you want to be a guest on our show, please reach out to us. Or if you want to be involved in our organization in one way or another, we're looking to work with individuals, professionals, experts, community organizations, NGOs, government officials, and more. Again, our contact information, 437-889-8329 to call us. Email us at info@voiceofmen360.org, which makes our website www.voiceofmen360.org. And you can find us on all of your social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and more. And please find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/groups/voiceofmen360. And we want to reach out to more people and help more people. So please continue your support. Thank you for joining us today. And until next time, I'm RJ Horner asking you to open up.